Hello students, in this session I will be covering Annamalai University's Master of Business Administration first year subject Managerial Economics. In this session I will be covering Unit 3, that is Lesson 9 to Lesson 12. Lesson 9, Cost Concept. What is meant by cost and other areas? Okay, there are certain things like money cost and real cost. Money cost of production is the actual monetary, that means monetary is nothing but in terms of more money expenditure made by company in the production process. So all those expenses in terms of money, okay, can count through money, 100 rupees, 20 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees, 10,000 rupees, like that. When they add up all those cost involved in the production process is known as money cost. And real cost of production or business operation on the other hand includes all such expenses or costs of business which may or may not involve actual monetary expenditure. Example, if owner of a business venture uses his personal land and building for running the business venture, and he or she does not charge any rent for the same, then such head or such expenses will not be considered or included while computing the money cost. But this head will be, or this item will be part of the real cost computation. Okay, so rent for the land of the owner used for business could be taken as a rent. Okay, so which comes under real cost, not under money cost. Okay, because money is not expended for that particular business activity. Accounting cost includes all business expenses that are recorded in the books of accounts of a firm. Okay, like raw materials cost, salary, wages, various direct and indirect expenses, etc., which you learn in accounts. So it's called as accounting cost. Economic cost on the other hand includes all accounting expenses as well as the opportunity cost of a business. What do you mean by opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is nothing but if an individual invest 1 lakh rupees or 10 lakh rupees in a business, how much that particular individual can earn if he invests 10 lakh rupees in an alternative area. For example, if he puts that amount in a fixed deposit or a post office deposit or any other deposit, how much he can earn, that is known as opportunity cost. Okay, now private cost, actual expenses of individuals, firms which are borne or paid out by the individual or firm can be termed as private cost. Okay, social cost on the other hand includes private cost and also costs such are not borne by the firm but by the society. That means some damages occurring to the social environment, that's borne by the society, not by the organization. Fixed cost, variable cost, average cost, marginal cost, these are costs you already know by now. Fixed cost is the total fixed cost without changes. Variable cost, per unit cost changes, it's variable cost. Average cost is nothing but total fixed cost divided by number of units, called average cost. Marginal cost is nothing but when a additional unit, the cost for producing an additional unit is known as marginal cost, over and above the main cost or main number of items. Okay, economic cost is the gains and losses in money, time and resources of one course of action compared to another. There are various types of economic cost: variable cost, fixed cost, total fixed cost, etc. You can read. Okay. then decreasing returns to gain. If input is double, the increase in output is less than twice as large and average cost increases with output. Long run versus short run cost curves. These are things just for information only. Okay. Opportunity cost. The resources of any firm operating in the market are limited and investment options are many. As I said earlier, the firm therefore has to decide or select any those investment opportunities or options which provide the firm with the best return or best income on investment. This means that if a firm can invest money, resources only in one investment option, then the firm will select that investment option which promises best return on investment to the firm. So rather than investing in the business, the firm invest the money in some other investment and earns higher return. That's opportunity cost. Okay. Sunk cost. We use concept of sunk cost to describe such investment, the cost already incurred which cannot be recovered regardless of future events. So sunk costs are those costs which are already incurred which cannot be recovered. Okay. These are the things covered in lesson 9 unit 3. Now to lesson 10, cost accounting. Cost accounting is nothing but accounting of the costs incurred for the production process. Okay. So the managers are taking decisions for production and the organization needs to know how much money has been spent on the production process. So the cost needs to be accounted. Okay. Now financial accounting are those accounts related to the financial results of for an accounting year. Okay. And profit and loss account, balance sheet, etc. Types of cost accounting. There are different types of cost accounting depending on the classification of costs by element. Each element like material, labor and expenses incurred in the cost of production. By normality, normal cost and abnormal cost. Normal costs arise during routine day-to-day business operation. Abnormal costs arise because of any abnormal activity or event not part of routine business operations. Example, costs arising of floods, riots and accidents, etc. By time, historical costs and predetermined costs. Historical costs are costs incurred in the past. Predetermined costs are computed in advance on basis of factors affecting cost elements. Example, standard cost. Decision making costs. Decision making costs are costs of decision making by the managers. Okay. Relevant cost. The relevant cost is a cost which is relevant in various decisions of management. Replacement cost. This cost is the cost at which existing items of materials or fixed assets can be replaced. Example, cost of replacing a machinery. Capacity cost. These costs are normally fixed costs. The cost incurred by a company for providing production, administration and selling and distribution capabilities in order to perform various functions. Okay. Implicit costs. Implicit costs are those costs associated with resources that are provided to the company with no price tag. Okay. For example, if a company operates after a building it owns, so there is no rent for that. So rent is already available if the organization takes a rented building, but here it is a owned building, still that rent needs to be accounted. That's called as implicit cost. Explicit cost. Accounting costs come from the total explicit cost of the company during the fiscal year. Accounting costs do not include implicit costs resulting from unused resources. Okay. Explicit cost has a monetary value. Okay. These are the things covered in lesson 10. Now to lesson 11, production economics. Production is nothing but production of producing items, finished goods in an organization. Okay. The most important forms of production are market production, public production and household production. In order to understand the origin of economic well-being, we must understand these three production processes. Okay. There are three stakeholders of production: customers, suppliers and producers. Producers are those organizations who produce goods. Customers who consumes goods or buys the goods. Suppliers of raw materials and other essential items for producing to the producer or producing products or items. Okay, these are the things covered in lesson 11, production economics. Now to lesson 12, returns to scale. Concept of law of returns to scale. Law of returns to scale are a set of three interrelated and sequential laws. Laws of increasing returns to scale, laws of constant returns to scale and law of diminishing returns to scale. If output increases by the same proportional change as all inputs change, then there are constant returns to scale. If output increases by less than that proportional change in inputs, there are decreasing returns to scale. If output increases by more than that proportional change in inputs, there are increasing returns to scale. This means that if the output of production is increasing more than at a proportional level or a proportional change, okay, it is called as proportional change in inputs. Okay, if the input increases and not depending on the input increases, the output increases, then it is called as increasing returns to scale, which is normally required for an organization or a producer or a manufacturer, or expected to have. Laws of returns to scale. Definition and explanation. The laws of returns are often confused. Okay. The law of returns operate in the short period. It explains the production behavior of the firm with one factor variable, while other factors are kept constant. So the variable factor is the output changes. Okay. Whereas the law of returns to scale operates in the long period. It explains the production behavior of the firm with all variable factors. Increasing returns to scale. If the output of a firm increases, that means output is variable more than in proportion to an equal percentage increase in all inputs. When the inputs increases gradually or not, usually the output also supposed to increase. That is called as increasing returns to scale. We explained other things. Okay. Economies of scale. Okay. An economy of scale exists when larger output is associated with lower per unit cost. Normally you can get a question from what do you mean by, what do you understand by economies of scale? This is nothing but when the unit of production increases, the per unit cost of item decreases. Okay, when the output of a firm increases over a fixed level, the per unit cost of the item decreases. It's known as economies of scale. It's an important point. Okay, you may get a short answer question. What do you understand by economies of scale? Or you may get a essay question saying what do you understand by economies of scale? Explain with a suitable example, something like that. Okay. So always expect a question in the form of economies of scale. So these are the things covered in lesson 12 unit 3. So here ends unit 3. Thank you very much.